The Grand Hall of the Galactic Council was a sight to behold, illuminated by thousands of crystal spheres that cast a soft glow over the vast assembly of alien dignitaries, built to accommodate over 50 different species. Each section was climate-controlled to suit their respective atmospheres. Towering columns of iridescent stone stretched up to a domed ceiling adorned with a mosaic of the known galaxy. At the heart of this majestic space stood the central days, where matters of galactic consequence were debated and decided. Today, the atmosphere in the Grand Hall was tense as a new issue weighed heavily on the Council. The topic of discussion, the role of humanity in an impending war against the dreaded Drexion Armada. Humans were still newcomers to the Galactic Council, having joined only 20 years prior. Their presence was seen as unusual by many of the more established species. Unlike the histories of conquest and warfare that marked the rise of so many galactic powers, humanity had earned their place diplomatically, with no grand military victories or territorial expansions to their name. This reputation of peacefulness had not gone unnoticed, and now, with the threat of the Drexions looming, many council members questioned whether humans possessed the capacity for true warfare. Among the council's most influential members was Grand Arbiter Veril, a member of the feline-like Xenathar species. His tall, graceful form reflected both an elegant poise and an undercurrent of menace. As the hall quieted, Veril's deep voice echoed through the cavernous space. The matter of human involvement in the Drexion conflict must be addressed, he announced, casting a skeptical gaze at the human delegation seated before him. Humans lack the innate capacity for true war. Veril continued, his tone tinged with disdain. They are peaceful by nature, which makes them ill-suited for a conflict of this magnitude. How does Earth plan to protect its colonies? With words and negotiations? Seated in the human delegation, Colonel Mara Ortiz listened in silence, her stoic expression giving away little of her thoughts. Beside her, Major Ethan Greaves clenched his jaw, the muscles in his face tightening with barely contained frustration. They were joined by Ambassador Cole, a skilled diplomat who had fought tirelessly for humanity's place within the Council. At Mara's feet, her loyal German shepherd, Rex, remained alert yet calm, his watchful gaze scanning the assembly. The murmur of agreement rippled through the council members as Veril's words hung in the air, until finally, the Arbiter turned his attention directly to Mara. Mara met Veril's gaze evenly, her voice steady and unwavering when she finally spoke. We're here to inform the Council of our intent, not to seek permission. Humanity will defend itself, with or without your support. Veril's eyes narrowed, his tone tinged with disdain. And how, exactly, do you intend to defeat the Drexion Armada? A force unmatched in strength and ruthlessness? Your kind is ill-prepared for the realities of galactic warfare. Ambassador Cole intervened, his diplomatic experience evident in his measured tone. Earth has always valued diplomacy, but we are not defenseless. We intend to fight if necessary. A ripple of laughter moved through the council, but Mara and her team remained unmoved. They understood the council's doubts. Humans had no record of large-scale galactic warfare to draw from. Yet Mara knew that Earth's history was filled with battles, fought under desperate conditions, where resilience and ingenuity had carried the day. Humanity's preference for peace was not a sign of weakness, but of wisdom hard-earned through centuries of struggle. Still, the Council would need more than words to be convinced of humanity's capabilities. As the discussion continued, the tension in the hall mounted, each side firmly entrenched in their position. It was clear that a decisive demonstration would be required to sway the skeptical members of the Galactic Council. The opportunity to prove their mettle would come sooner than anyone had expected. Word reached the Council of the Drexion Fleet's approach, their massive armada, steadily encroaching on the outer edges of human-colonized space. The time for words had passed, the time for action had arrived. As the Drexion fleet moved ever closer, Mara found herself standing on the bridge of the UE's Resolute, one of Earth's most advanced and powerful warships. The tactical display before her showed the Drexion ships closing in like a swarm of predators, honing in on their prey. Yet, despite the overwhelming odds, there was a fierce determination burning in Mara's eyes. All ships, this is Colonel Ortiz, she broadcasted to the entire human fleet. The Drexions think we're easy targets. Let's show them what Earth is made of. The ensuing battle was brutal. A clash of vastly different military doctrines and technological capabilities. The human fleet was smaller and less advanced than the Drexion Armada, but they were nimble and resourceful, employing clever tactics to outmaneuver their foes. Human ships darted through the Drexion formation, targeting weak points and retreating before the enemy could react. The Drexions, accustomed to quick and decisive victories, found themselves caught off guard by the humans' resilience and ingenuity. Hours passed in relentless combat, with the Resolute leading the charge. Mara orchestrated the human fleet with precision, pushing her ships and their crews to the limits of their endurance. The Drexion flagship, a symbol of the invaders' unmatched strength, loomed ahead, and Mara knew that weakening or destroying it would be a critical blow, hit them where it hurts. She ordered, launching a coordinated assault on the Drexion command vessel. The Resolute and its allies poured a devastating barrage of fire into the flagship, crippling it in a fiery explosion that sent shockwaves through the Drexion ranks. The destruction of their command ship was a major setback for the invaders, but the human fleet had been whittled down, outnumbered and low on resources. Just as hope began to fade, new contacts appeared on the tactical display ships, bearing the insignia of the Galactic Council. Despite their earlier skepticism, the Council had sent reinforcements to aid the humans. Advanced warships from the Zenithar, the Dren, and other Council species entered the fray, surrounding the Drexion forces. Caught between the tenacious human fleet and the Council's elite armada, the Drexions had no choice but to retreat. On the Resolute's bridge, Mara allowed herself a brief smile as she watched the enemy, ships fleeing from human space. The battle was over, but at a great cost. Many human ships had been destroyed, and thousands of lives had been lost. Yet, in the end, humanity had shown its resolve, proving that they were not as weak or unprepared as the Council had assumed. Back in the Grand Hall, Mara and her team stood before the Council once more, this time greeted with a quiet respect rather than the previous disdain. Grand Arbiter Veril addressed Mara, his tone softened by a newfound admiration. "Colonel Ortiz, it appears we were mistaken about humanity. You and your people have shown remarkable courage and resilience in the face of overwhelming odds." Mara nodded, her expression solemn. "We're here to protect our people. Arbiter Veril, we may prefer peace, but we know how to fight when necessary." Veril inclined his head in acknowledgement. "The Council will reconsider its stance on human military capabilities. You have earned our respect and a place at our table." As Mara left the hall with her team, she knew that this was only the beginning. Humanity's path among the stars would be a challenging one. filled with adversity and skepticism from the more established galactic powers. But they had taken the first step toward earning their rightful place in the Galactic Council. And the galaxy now knew that Earth was no longer to be underestimated. In the days that followed, news of the human victory against the Drexion Armada spread quickly through the council chambers and beyond. The courage and strategic brilliance displayed by the UE's Resolute and its crew became the subject of much discussion and admiration, with many species acknowledging that their preconceptions about humanity had been gravely mistaken. For Mara and her team, the battle had been a defining moment not just for their own people, but for the future of humanity's role in the galactic community. They had proven that their capacity for warfare, though not their preferred path, was very much present and capable of turning the tide against even the most formidable of foes. As the council convened to discuss the matter further, Mara and her fellow officers stood before the assembly, their uniforms bearing the scars of battle. Veril, now with a newfound respect in his eyes, addressed them once more. Colonel Ortiz, on behalf of the Galactic Council, I offer our sincere apologies for the doubts we expressed regarding humanity's martial abilities. Your actions have demonstrated a level of strategic acumen and battlefield prowess that few species can claim. You have shown us that the path to peace is not always paved with pacifism alone. Mara inclined her head, acknowledging Veril's words. Arbiter Veril, we are not a people who seek conflict, but we will not shy away from it when the safety of our colonies and our way of life are threatened. The Drexians learned this the hard way. Veril nodded, a hint of a smile playing at the corners of his lips. Indeed they did. And now the Council believes it is time to extend a formal invitation to humanity to take your rightful place as a full member of the Galactic Council. The announcement was met with a smattering of applause and murmurs of approval from the assembled delegates. Mara felt a surge of pride, both for herself and for her species. This was a momentous occasion, one that would pave the way for a new era of cooperation and mutual understanding between humanity and the other galactic powers. We are honored to accept your invitation, Arbiter Veril, Mara replied, her voice steady and resolute. Humanity looks forward to working alongside the Council to maintain peace and prosperity throughout the galaxy. With that, the human delegation was formally welcomed into the Galactic Council, their status elevated from that of an observer to a full-fledged member. The path ahead would not be an easy one, Mara knew, but the events of the Drexion conflict had proven that humanity was more than capable of standing alongside the most formidable species in the galaxy. In the days and weeks that followed, Mara and her team were inundated with requests for debriefings, strategic analyses, and even training sessions from various council members. The human victory had sparked a newfound curiosity and respect for Earth's military prowess, and the council was eager to learn from their example. Mara found herself playing a crucial role in bridging the gap between humanity and the other species, using her diplomatic skills and military expertise to foster a sense of understanding and cooperation. She knew that the road ahead would be challenging, but she was determined to ensure that humanity's voice would be heard and its contributions recognized within the Galactic Council. As she pored over the plans for the expansion of human colonies and the development of new technologies to support the Council's efforts, Mara couldn't help but feel a sense of optimism. The Drexion conflict had been a baptism by fire, but humanity had emerged stronger and more united than ever before. The galaxy had taken notice, and the future held endless possibilities. In the grand halls of the Galactic Council, the human delegation now stood as equals, their presence a testament to the resilience and adaptability of their species. Mara knew that the journey was just beginning, but she was confident that humanity would continue to prove its worth, both on the battlefield and in the realm of diplomacy. The galaxy, once skeptical of humanity's abilities, now looked upon Earth with a newfound respect and admiration. And as Mara and her team returned to their ships, she couldn't help but feel a deep sense of pride not just for herself, but for her entire species, who had shown the galaxy that they were a force to be reckoned with.